This is Blessing Salami introducing Woman at the Well.
Welcome to the Woman at the Well, a place of hope and healing.
Hello, good afternoon everyone. How are you all doing? Hello, it's Woman at the Well and this is your host Blessing Salami. I greet you according to your time. It is a beautiful spring afternoon here in Wales. I just hope wherever you are, you got a good weather. Anyway, this afternoon we're continuing on the topic mental health. Yes, mental health. Is it that you have mental health or you have mental illness? However, look after your mental health. That is the message we're passing across. This afternoon, without wasting time, I've got another beautiful guest. She's my sister. Yes, we look alike, don't we?
We do.
Yeah, we do look alike. Yes, my sister Helen, you're so welcome to this afternoon's program.
Thank you.
It's so good to have you. Please, can you introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Helen Kanwe. I'm a mother of 3. I'm married, 3 boys. So for those of us who are on the same train, you understand what it is when you have 3 boys at home.
Soldiers.
My educational background is I have a master's in human resource management. So I deal mostly with humans and I understand the dynamics of human in a workplace as related to a home as well. So I would speak basically on the aspect that I am very, very conversant with all my everyday, activities. So how do we go?
Welcome.
Carry on. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. Oh, this is so good to know. Human resources, and we're talking to humans, and we're all humans as well. In relation to mental health, I don't want to ask if you've been diagnosed at all in the past or now, because we have undiagnosed mental health concerns or mental illness. What we're trying to explore this afternoon is on the area of marriage expectations. That's a big one for women, ladies. Bring your chair. Yoruba will say, Joko, sit down.
Come closer.
Come closer. Yes,
and let's chat.
Yes, let's have a chat. When you have these expectations and then you go into marriage, you train you're a girl, you have to do this in the morning, you do that in the afternoon, and then we have all these expectations. And then all of a sudden you go in there and you think, oh my God, you get so overwhelmed. This is not what I thought it is.
I know.
Have you in any way been traumatized, pained, frustrated, overwhelmed by such, because we're talking to women now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So please share this information.
Yes, I have been.
What were your expectations?
Nobody told me marriage would be like what marriage is. To be honest, we all decide to marry because we see people marrying. It's our culture, it's our expectations. Our friends are marrying, it's time to marry, it's the age to marry. But we really don't know that when you are getting married, you're selling your liberty. It's more, I always say it's not what at home you feel, it's a burden when you are being asked to do so much at home. But at home with your parents is shared responsibility. But when you are married, it's no more shared responsibility. It's a sole responsibility. So that's the first shock that you get as a single person going into marriage. You don't have, except you're married to wealth, basically. That's where you have people who will support you. But an average and ideal home, when you get into it, it's a sole responsibility. And when you go in there, you don't even know who you're getting married to. You only know the version of a relationship. You don't know the version of being married. When you're in a relationship, it's all sweet and rosy. The chemistry is high, you want to do all the romance in the world. But when you're married, it's serious business. So a lot of us entered marriage with no clue. That's the truth. Our parents never told us that this is what marriage is until we experienced the burden of marriage. So I always say, when you decide to marry, it's a sacrifice. You strip yourself of everything and you just sacrifice yourself in building a home. Especially with the kind of culture we have. As women, we are highly dependent on. People depend on us. Your husband will depend on you. Your children will depend on you. Your in-laws will depend on you. And as a woman, you are there to serve all these people around you. And you feel left out, and who's serving you?
Who is serving you, yeah.
And that's marriage.
I'm not an expert in these things, especially when it comes to marriage. But you talk about the version you see a person in, the version in relationship is quite different from the version you enter into in marriage. Did that in any way, traumatize you going in with a different perspective of marriage and then going in and seeing something different or experiencing something different? Did you feel traumatized?
It's a great change. You feel the shake. You then tend to adapt because you just tend to find yourself adapting regardless of what is thrown in front of you. In a relationship, it's just two individuals dating. They are not committed in any shape, form. They are not responsible for building anything until they are united and in a home. Then they are there to build something, and in order to build anything, you have to give it time, resources, effort, dedication, and all these things that you give into the marriage is what builds the marriage. And if each of them are lacking in any way, there's always a problem in the front line of marriage. So marriage is a serious business. It's not, I always tell people, it's not a bed of roses, or even if it's a bed of roses, it has thorns. So even you are lying on it, it will still trick you. As beautiful as it is, there's a hard work behind the scene. You wake up very early in the morning, you plan your day. You are, responsible for people. You are responsible for the home front. You are responsible for financial front. It takes a lot of work to build a home and to make a marriage work. And if you don't have that going on in the home, that's where you now have problems coming. And as a woman, it takes a toll on you. It takes a toll on you, what you do, because you don't know how to do it. You are going into it the first time, so it's like an experiment. Nobody has taught you up front on this is how you have to do it, this is how you are. The only thing I think mothers tell us is clean the house. I don't think any mother has told you how to emotionally satisfy your husband. I think the only thing mothers tells you is if your husband talks, listen and be quiet. So we don't have that knowledge when we go into marriage. We just go into it and we begin to adapt to everything that is thrown to us. And those who cannot adapt, they face the door. Those who are adapting beds, some are bruised and they are still in it. So it's hard.
That's a good way I want to pick on now is you're shown the door or you just walk out yourself. So there's always a fight, flight response to marriage, and especially when you have high expectations. I'm not going to talk about myself because I have a guest here today. But when those expectations are not met, do you feel like you're losing it? You're losing grip of it. You're losing your mind. Is there anything, a lived experience you can actually share with the people here so they can actually think, okay, I can resonate with that? So how did she go about it? So are there any examples at all you can share in your marriage that you've lived that felt like, ooh, this is overwhelming, but hey, okay, we can do this together?
Well, the first thing I would say is when you enter marriage, don't go with any expectations. You don't enter marriage with any expectations. Why a lot of women are hurt today, and why a lot of women suffer emotionally and have mental breakdown, is because they've entered marriage with expectation. I entered marriage with expectation. I've learned to unlearn all my expectation and have a blank mind and move along with what comes every day as it comes, because the world itself is very dynamic and things are changing in a very rapid speed, and we always think that it's just the parties in the marriage. The factors around the marriage also they play a great role in how the marriage will function. The opportunities where the marriage is centered in would also play a role in how the marriage will grow. The exposure to the children are having will also play a role in how a marriage will grow. So when going to a marriage, there is no expectation. Anybody that goes there will just, if you go with expectation, you will be beaten, battered and bruised mentally. You go in a marriage without expectation. The only expectation I tell people is, we are here to build a home, and however God makes that home go, you go along with the flow, because we are not God. We don't know what God has in stock for us. Some of us go to a marriage with expectation of how many children we are going to have. Some go with expectation of the kind of career we're going to be in. Some go with expectation about how many wives they're going to marry. But at the end of the day, don't turn out like that. Some with children may not even have children at all. Some with career may become jobless. So if you look at all these factors, life itself, with the way it is, everybody going into marriage should now understand that you don't go into it with any expectation. I tell people, and the way marriage is being very clear now to the public, you have to decide if you're going to be in it or you're not going to be in it. Is that a journey you want to venture in? Is that a journey you don't want to venture in? And I always say, parents these days, you don't push your child now, you must marry. No. If they are okay to marry, they marry. If they know they are ready to deal with what comes along with marriage, they should do it. But if you don't want to deal with marriage, it's okay. It's okay. If you don't have the mental capacity to go into marriage, it's okay not to, because we are not all built the same way. But if you want to go and into the marriage and go and walk it through, life is a journey, then you can go ahead. But expectation zero. Zero expectation.
Expectation zero.
No, zero. Okay, so marriage, no.
Okay, you did mention unlearning some things that you've learned in the past. Can you mention one or two things that the expectations that you had to unlearn just so you can have your peace of mind, and obviously work to build your relationship with your husband, especially when it comes to the idea of building a home, a beautiful home, because like I said, I don't want to talk about myself, but I did mention it in my past video. I had this expectation of having a large family, and 6 years running, I had no child.
Okay.
I had none by 6 years after. So that's one expectation that could cause severe mental health concerns, severe mental illness, and it did bruise me. So is there, at some point I had to start to relearn and think, okay, whatever is God's plan, like you said. And this woman at the well that we've discussed, that we're trying to explore, this, this woman, what did she go through, and that I believe that she had high expectations from the first one, and first one, it didn't happen. But if they didn't try to mention in the Bible what happened to her. But can you tell us one or two things that you went into marriage with? Okay, this will happen and that will happen, and then it turned out the other way, and you had to unlearn and think, okay, I'll have to adjust here.
Yeah. One of the things that I can relate to personally is my career went to the back burner. In my marriage, I had to give it up. Not because I want to. I have desired so much to be at the highest peak. When I met my husband, I was already a manager in an establishment, so it was my desire. I commanded a lot of respect, and I had people who were, my subordinates. So I enjoyed. I looked at myself so much that this is where I'm going, and this is what I'm, going to expect for myself. But at the end of the day, when I relocated was the first shocker, and when I started having children, managing, I was having my child while going back to school, to improve my qualifications. And at that time, there was already a struggle. This is the United Kingdom. There's no help, no childcare struggles. I felt left out. There was a funny incident. I even went to work 1 12-hour shift. I had to stand for 11 hours. And my legs were so swollen for 2 days I couldn't walk. And then my husband was saying, I told you to sit down. I don't do anything. So my expectations for my career just went out of the window. I pray over time that I pick it up when the children are more independent and they're able to do things by themselves. But I think marriage stole that away from me. I had to sacrifice that greatest part. When you are growing, you have your ambition laid out. You have so much things you want to be, where you want to be at a certain stage. And where I am is not where I want to be. It's not where I want to be at the moment. But because of the word marriage, I'd had to put that at the back burner in order to raise my children, and be there full time for them, while my husband is the one working full time. So I've had to sacrifice that, and that's where my biggest regret is. But there's nothing I can do because I've ventured into marriage, and someone has to take care of the children, and that's just it.
Will you call that sacrifice?
I would say on a woman it's not fair, even if it's sacrifice, but it's still not fair, because except you have a partner that you have a guaranteed end, which is not even established, that you're going to end up together at the end of the marriage race. You sacrifice all these things, and what happens to you? You have nothing to hold on to. And the children you are raising will become independent and move on to their houses. What do you become? A burden to the children? No. At some stage, the children will not even have time for you. They are chasing their own life. So sometimes I feel cheated. I feel that part of my life has just gone because I have children. And with this, our society, when there's a particular age, you start chasing career, you just feel that at some age now, you just cannot start struggling with the people in the labor. The young ones to start getting a job, and employers will not even look at you first if you've crossed the age where they can feel that your productivity will not be as high as somebody who is single or someone who has no baggages with them. You see, so it's a great sacrifice, and a lot of women are experiencing this as well. Some women basically who are in career path have fought severely to remain in their jobs. They've had to have quarrels in the home in order to maintain that job that they have or the job they are doing. It's a steady struggle and fight at home for a woman to maintain her career over the years. And at the end of the day, it benefits both parties. It benefits both parties at the end of the day. But the initial stage, nobody wants to be the one to sacrifice
to be the
them.
caregiver. Yeah. Well, ladies, I guess we're learning something from this. Sacrifice, yes. But when you have to give, to sacrifice, I believe so much in the covenant of marriage. We're Christians. I believe so much. God made them two of them, and He blessed them, and He said, "Be fruitful," and He said, "Multiply and replenish and have dominion," and all those commandments given to marriage. And there doesn't seem to be a balance, especially in our culture, because the woman is always seen as the caregiver, and because of that expectation, some women go into a state of depression. Some go into a place of isolation, a place of frustration, and they can't really. They lose themselves, basically, just like you said. So being from a manager as a spinster, and then when you're supposed to be at the peak of your career,
it's all gone.
You're being a mom looking after 3 boys, and that's not easy. It takes a toll on us as women, doesn't it? But I think there should be a balance. But I don't think anything is fair unless God makes it that way. God has made women, ladies, to be caregivers. But when we go with these high expectations of, okay, the man will look after us, and we have this career, the man will create the balance, and that's when struggles come in.
It's just that I tell people that this nurturing of a thing, there's a stage for a woman and there's a stage for a man. I think from a childbirth till when that child is 9 years old to 10 years old, the mother nurtures and does all the things that are necessary. But from the age of 10 to the time they step out of the house is now the father's responsibility to instill and nurture a child and give that child a balance. Mother has done her nurturing, father now is there now to teach the children, give them an emotional balance, let them know what the outside world is all about, teach them how to manage money and all that stuff, all those lots. But we discover that part never happens. And that's when a woman is supposed to now pick up her career after the age of 10, when those children are now on their own, to start picking up herself and getting herself back in career. But we see that mothers run these things through to the end. If you have boys or sons, at 10 o'clock, it's now the father's. The mother don't have business with that child anymore than normal nurturing. But instilling of discipline, making the boy know he's a boy child and everything, taking that child out for sports, games and activities that builds of self-confidence for a male child. You understand? It's the responsibility of the father, and that is where he has his role to play. Also for a daughter, a lot of people say, oh, girls, go to your mother. No, a father plays a major role, because at that age, that girl will now have to decide the kind of man she's going to end up with, because that's where her father starts teaching the child the signs of who a good man is, what you should see in a man, and what you should expect in a man. And this is the vacuum and the windows that have been, not filled, all because everybody's chasing what they're chasing, you see. So that part of the life of a child is never, the child never gets that. It's very few children that the fathers then, like I growing up at that age, that was when my father took over. you know. And then, oh my God, the beating that we receive. Sorry to say, but then,
yeah, but
we could see our mess up every day because he took it up from that age.
But then your father was present, wasn't he?
He was completely present.
And your upbringing totally, I suppose, informed your behavior today.
Yeah.
I, for one, had a present father, but not emotionally attached in any way, shape, or form. So all I was praying for was a man to just come, take me out of
that situation. Because the home itself was already a situation.
It was a situation. It was. So my expectation was, okay, everything I lacked in a father, I will get it from a husband. And who told you that? I was lying to myself. I was lying to myself. So it all depends on, you know, the place or the environment we're raised and brought up.
Because fathers were not involved at that stage of a child's life. And that is the very crucial stage of every child's life. You know, when they say their head, it's not just for... That's where the head now start playing its role. From the age of 10 till the age of 20. The way you advise your child, the way you groom your children, it's the male responsibility at that time to take it all up. And you see in our culture, we'll say, oh, once the child turn out not to be what you expect,
It's the mother's child.
They now blame the mother for crying out loud. And you, the father, were you not in the house?
No, but it's not just our culture. I think it's in the Bible somewhere that a good child brings good name or brings pride to the father.
Sure, it's the Bible.
It's the Bible. Proverb? No, it is in the Bible. Yeah, it is in the Bible, but I can't. Let me see if I can.
Let's find it out and see.
No, it is.
If that's what's in the Bible. You know, some of our proverbs have now been mixed up with you know, that's the very time a parent is supposed, the father is supposed to be present in a child's life. You know, it forms that child. That's when the child is formed. Behavior, everything, responsibilities, everything. But they tend to, the failure of that is also, they now tend to blame a mother for that.
I'm sure it is in the Bible. Proverbs 18:20.
15:20.
Let's read it.
How is this Bible fair now?
Let's read it. Proverbs.
But that's in Proverbs
15.
A wise son, 15:20.
I know it is in the Bible.
But it depends on how it is.
A wise son brings joy to his family, but a foolish man despises his mother.
So how do we interpret that verse?
So remember,
so why is bringing joy to his father? Because the father has put work into it.
Whether he puts work or not,
he has put work into it.
Yeah. You are.
The woman will now be shamed because at the end of the day, she has done the nurturing and she's not getting anything.
She doesn't have to, because that's how God made it. Every child bears their father's name. Oh well, let me not use every. Let me use most children. They bear their father's name. So if you bring shame, it's the mother's fault. And if you bring, oh gosh, that's my son, that's my daughter, you know, as bad as my father, I God forgive me, I'm not putting him down, may his soul find rest. As bad
difficult
as I thought, as difficult as I thought that training it, there was something he said just when I was getting married, my first marriage. He said this he wasn't, interested in the marriage. He didn't welcome the gentleman and what have you and what have you. But when he finally decided that, okay, since your mind is made up, you want to go that way without any reason, blah, blah, blah. Okay. He said to this young man, he said, I don't like you with my daughter. I don't think you're the best for her and what have you and what have you. But the only advice he gave that man is, the day I hear that you touch my daughter, the day I hear that you told my daughter I'll be coming for you. Now this is somebody who has never protected me in his entire life.
That's a sign of ownership.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So for him, he had to, and when the relationship went apart and I told him about it, went well. I didn't see anything good in that man anyway, so I knew it was going to end up this way. But he's lucky that he didn't do more than you're telling me now, because I would have come for him and that. But then if I'm sure if he had created that environment, like you said, that's nurturing to make me understand exactly who I am, as well as the kind of person I should expect, it wouldn't have ended up the way it ended up. So whether we like it or not, it is both
parents'
responsibility. However, nurturing is ours, but we don't need to sacrifice everything.
We do. We don't have a choice.
We don't have
because
the choice,
we are the most empathetic people in that situation.
I don't think it's empathy. I just think that's how God made it.
Made women. Yeah.
Yes.
Because if you can, a man can walk out on the children, a mother cannot.
Well, men, I think at this juncture,
men can walk out.
I would say we should do better, and by the grace of God, we'll build a platform where both husband and wife, spouses, can actually talk about these things, and we can understand the female perspective, and the female can actually, understand how we as women, us as women, do feel when they walk out on their responsibilities, because our expectations going into marriage is totally different from what we then see, especially in terms of our career, in terms of bringing up children, raising up children, nurturing children, financial assistance, and what have you. And I did make there was something on social media, and somebody said, you must submit to your own husband. And then another lady said, yeah, we submit when we find love and when the man is leading. And there was such an outbreak, and I was like, okay, if we can just follow, and this is my submission to this, if we can just follow the biblical interpretation, the prescription given to us
in Ephesians 5:21. I know that verse very well because I quote it all the time.
If we can just follow the prescription by God, it says we should love each other. We should submit as well to one another
in the fear of God.
Then men can hold on to their responsibilities. I'm not talking about the rights here. I'm talking about responsibilities. It's very easy to say, I'm the man. It's very easy to bend the woman to say, you must submit to me. However, let us learn as men, please, I'm begging us, to try to fill these vacuums that women are just being the male as well as the female.
In a home.
In a home. You can imagine my sister now, dropping her career to do everything possible to bring up 3 boys and filling in the gap for as many years as possible for 12, 13 years running. And yes, and that's the peak of it. And before you know it, the children are grown and all gone.
And you don't even know where to start from anymore.
Yes. So it is overwhelming. It causes a lot of pressure. It causes a lot of frustration. Our mental health is at stake. We cry. Sometimes you hide yourself in shame when you see people who are thriving, or people who were supposed to be more than them, and then
sometimes I always say, when you don't go with expectation, you don't care anymore.
Yeah.
In order to have a healthy mental health, and you have to be able to tell yourself there are some certain realities in life you don't have a choice about it. In my own situation, because I'm a full caregiver and I'm a mom, I have accepted my life the way it is, and I never compare. One of the things my parents have raised me,
say that again.
I never compare.
Never compare
I
yourself
never compare.
with any woman out there. Comparison
and
will,
contentment. is very important in marriage. Always be contented. I am so contented. Why? Because there are some things you can never change in life. And the only things that can change it is God. And if you know you cannot physically change something, you've left it for God. Live your life freely. You don't have to kill yourself and want to be somebody else. Mind you, the people that you may be envying and want to be like, if you know the cross and burden they are carrying, you will never want to be like them. You'll be contented with where you are at the moment. So I've learned contentment. I've learned to give people benefit of doubt. I've just learned to be satisfied with my own space and my environment, and I don't want to be anybody else but myself.
Will you say then that is your route to healing?
Yes. It's played the biggest role of healing. And I had a sister who told me that never be judgmental.
Never be judgmental. Be
Yes.
content with what you have.
Be content
and where you are.
Yeah. She taught me to never be judgmental. She said, if you see anybody, never be judgmental. No matter what that person is or who that person is, because you don't know the story. So never be judgmental and be content. I am contented, and I think that contentment has helped me a lot. You know, if I enter a space now, I'm very content. Anybody there doesn't bother me. However
And
you
it's
are,
not pride.
it's not pride, but I'm just
It
content.
is your self-care. It is how you cope. It is a coping mechanism, especially for they call it the CBT, the cognitive behavioral therapy, for every person, where you can actually replace positive to negative. Yeah, when you apply that to your mental health or to your mental illness, you begin to display a better behavior and display better emotions to whatever is going on, especially when you have high expectations. Your expectation might be there and you are here. It doesn't mean you won't get there. It's just a matter of time. But as long as you are content with here and you just pray, there's nothing that's stopping you.
You won't even know when you've gotten there.
Yeah.
You will never know when you've gotten to that point. Because when you are in a space of content and you are shifting, you don't know you are shifting. It is when you find yourself in very difficult situations in life, because life is a journey, and you are able to cope and handle it, and you say, me before I cannot, but me of now, you know, you now know that you have grown.
Advancement.
Yes, you have grown.
Advancement. So thank you so much. Is there any word or a kind of message you're going to send across to one woman, two women, three, about their expectations and how they can heal from unachieved experiences or unachieved expectations? For that woman who is going through some mental illness or some sort of breakdown or some sort of doubts in their heart, is there anything you can actually tell them out there to think, okay, this will be helpful, this is a tip to help you come out of that dark place where you are?
I would say take a pause, take a break, reevaluate your circumstances. And after reevaluating your circumstances, the first thing you should approach is self-care. Once you are able to take care of yourself, you are able to take care of every other thing around you. Groom yourself, take care of yourself. Your health, your mental health, take care of yourself. Give yourself time. Time. You can cry as much as you can cry.
And that's really good.
And don't dwell in your cry. When you're finished crying, then pursue what you're pursuing. But give yourself time. You're allowed to break down. You're human. I'm human. We're all human. You're allowed to break down. You're allowed to be affected by everything that is around you. It's okay to be affected. but don't dwell on it too much. Don't hang in there so much. Once you are done with, analyzing it and weeping over it, then think of what next step to improve your situation. Life is a journey, and in a journey you expect so much. There's a lot of things that will happen that you yourself will least expect. There are lots of things that will cross your path that you never envisaged or dreamed that will happen. That's because life is a journey. And because it's a journey, have an open heart to it.
Have an open heart.
Yes. Have an open heart to it. And all will be well at the end.
Say to the righteous, it is well with you. It is well.
All will be well.
And the expectation of the righteous will not be at all. It will not be cut off. It will be granted by God. I don't know what expectations you have, woman of God. I don't know the expectation you have for your children. The Bible says your expectations shall not be cut short. It will not be cut off. Just wait for it. When it is God's time, it will speak and it will not lie. If God can do it for my sister here, Helen, He can do it for anyone. If He can do it for me, He can do it for you. Just be content. Find yourself again. Do not dwell in the past. I'm holding your hands. We can hold our hands together as friends, as sisters, and pull each other up.
Yeah.
Yes, we can. Give us a call, my subscribers, followers, as you're listening. May the Lord bless you and bless your heart and bless your children.
Amen.
May your expectations not be cut off. May they be granted by God.
Amen.
And may you have, laughter in your home.
Amen.
Amen. See you in my next video.
Bye.
Bye.
The Woman at the Well, sharing your story and glory with Blessing Salami.